This is serious Dark Angels vibes. That's so cool. And for thugs, look at that. Here comes another training target for us. Fire it up, you lot. Oh, perfect. We needed some training as well. We have a new Judge Dredd combat shotgun. Heck yes! High five! We did it! Okay, so we've got notes, and oh, there it is, a Thunderhammer. Amazing. Cinder's crew.
She's waiting for you. You know the place, so be there on time. The turn can be seen from the entrance to the Adeptus. Make sure some gawker doesn't see where you're going.
11 to 17. If we toss this over to the Omniscient Axe, axes have a special attack that inflicts bleeding, but dear God, its frontal cone is impressive. That's actually really good. This does look like it fits. Maces and hammers have a special attack that pushes enemies away. Nice for clearance. I love it. That's a great suggestion. Well, what about here? We've got, oh my God. Wow, we can get all of these. That's amazing. All right, this is cool. Scrap box consumable immediately consumed. This item provides 50 scrap. 12. We had a profit factor of 12 before this point. So definitely going to grab the upgrades, all of them. The buzzing crowd has closed in on several harried-looking individuals. Some of their faces are smeared with fresh blood. The angry cries and twisted faces leave no doubt. A massacre is about to take place. Just cut their throats already! What were they thinking letting that ship dock at Footfall? They're all stricken! No, no cutting. We get their blood on us. We'll be tainted too. Better burn them! What? I mean, you can't burn us. We're burn proof. Well, at least two of us are. Be quiet, you scoundrel! A priest clad in a simple black raiment cuts through the crowd like a void ship crossing the sky. You dare pass judgment on others! What arrogance to think you have the right! Argenta starts at the sight of the elderly priest. That's Reverend Hieronymus. I'm surprised he's decided to intervene in a street squabble. We'll intervene as well. What is going on here? Several dozen gazes bore into you. And who are you supposed to be? I am the judge of the worthless and the executioner of cowardice. Which one of you void rats just dared to address me without proper... Oh my God! We're like Judge Dredd. I mean, we do have his combat shotgun. A concerned citizen. An armed one. I suggest you think well before giving me lip. Ooh! You know, do as they would do on Footfall. Let's do number 4. A concerned citizen. An armed one. The rabble-rouser gives you an appraising look. Oi! You got a point there? I wonder if you can back it up. Silence! You must be completely out of your minds! A band of woefully dim-witted reprobates who think themselves bringers of justice. Who are you to pass judgment on anyone? All you ought to be doing is suffering and repenting till the end of your days. And what's so wrong about that, Reverend? We just want to put these heretics to death. We're not heretics! The haggard man is on the verge of tears. We're refugees. I swear it on the Golden Throne. We served the Imperium faithfully until they hung us out to dry. Where were the protectors that were meant to shield the lands of humanity from nightmares? Traitors! Traitors and heretics! The lot of them! A murmur runs through the crowd. The people gawk at you, at the priest, at the wretched group huddling in the center. How tiring. The motley sea of colors that fills this restless crowd is hard on the eyes. So many hues, but most of them are acid yellow streaks of fear, the red buds swelling, ready to burst and paint all who are gathered here. Kasha looks at the crowd of troublemakers wearily, and they shudder at the very sight of her. As for the hearts of those who've been forced to defend themselves, they're shrouded in purplish black grief. Their words are as transparent as the ice that lies at the top of a glacier. But commoners are always deaf to others' suffering, for such is their nature. Interfering in their affairs is hardly worthy of you or me, HBFT. Oh, of course it is. I mean, we don't want people dying. We need to introduce ourselves to Hieronymus, yeah? All onlookers are to return to their homes immediately. The refugees can go to Dock Alpha Row. I will speak to you later. Comply or face consequences. Ooh, okay, take command. The rabble-rouser looks at you morosely. I don't want to get in trouble over this lot. The refugees use the interruption to make off in the direction of Dock Alpha Row. Oh, all right. Diffused.
The arrogance and self-righteousness of a malefact.
The priest shakes his head disapprovingly. Then his eyes shift to you.
I am Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso, head of the Drusian mission here on the Footfall. I thank you for stepping in. Please come see me when you have the time. We can talk then.
That is incredible. We have Commander's Monocle. And then we have a great sword. Yeah, no, this is awesome. I'll try it. We still get our parry and everything, yeah? If we look at the Iconoclast helm, he's basically going to get his fellowship bonus of 3. And this is 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. He'll get 6. Oh, it's better. All right, nice. All right, hello, Hieronymus. The man with a face so drawn, it appears to be made of nothing but skin and bone, fixes his unblinking bird-like eyes on you. The priest's simple black clothes have next to no adornments, and they do nothing to mask his unhealthy gauntness. In a cracked voice, he says,
The Emperor protects.
The Emperor protects, Reverend.
But he protects only those who are pure of heart. Do you think yourself one of them? Be leery of this conviction of yours. Many who have risen to the pinnacle of faith have fallen from it into the embrace of pride most degenerate. And you must be the young von Valancius. That name carries weight, and it is a burdensome one, for its reputation suggests that Theodora encumbered it with many a transgression. I wonder, will you seek to shed them, or will you carry them onward, picking them along the way like ripe fruit and savoring their sweet poison?
How do you know who I am? Actually, yeah, how does he know who we are?
The Emperor has blessed me with acute hearing, and the people did the rest. How many members of your crew do you think came to confess the moment they arrived in port? How long do you suppose it took me to piece together the truth from their words?
The priest's voice is rasping and harsh, but you still manage to pick up a strange change in tone. There's something hidden behind this shift in his speech, something he did not consider necessary to explain. You're saying Theodora was a transgressor? Make the sign of the Holy Aquila? Ooh, I put my faith in the Emperor. All right, we did the Aquila. Oh, there we go. Now we're bros for life. He gives you a scrutinizing look, and then his tone softens.
Well, then be twice as diligent, for this sector will seize any chance to test your faith.
He looks at Argenta, who's standing nearby, and his voice softens slightly.
Greetings, sister. I congratulate you on your return. Was your pilgrimage fruitful?
It was. Reverend, let it be known to you that Theodora von Valancius' ship was attacked by servants of the arch-enemy, who appall the heart of any righteous soul, she says, nearly hissing with fury. And not all of them met a fitting end. Some fled, and more than that, their blasphemous words clearly pointed to this attack being part of a larger design. Reverend Hieronymus, I wish to join the esteemed Roguetrader's crew and help protect the von Valancius dynasty from the forces of the archenemy. I am divesting myself of the responsibility of guarding the Footfall reliquary. Ooh, how forward. Sister Argenta stood by my side during the assault on the ship. I could use her assistance going forward. Yes, absolutely. Sister Argenta stood by my side during the assault on the ship, and I could use her assistance going forward. Hieronymus nods in thought.
Follow the call of your soul, sister. The Footfall reliquary will be preserved even without your contribution, as it was in all the years preceding your arrival.
Wow, I'm kind of impressed with him. He's kind of seems like his head's on relatively straightly for the 40k universe. Hieronymus smiles sadly.
I know what it is that calls you to follow the Roguetrader, Sister Argenta. You seek combat, or it helps you to forget how hollow and worthless our lives truly are. It offers the illusion of meaning. Perhaps you will relinquish this illusion one day, or perhaps you will die before that day comes. Regardless, I wish you luck on your new path. But before you start on a path toward your new destiny, I have a request to make of you and your companion. Many among my flock are from the poorest, most dispossessed people on Footfall. They've brought me troubling news from Footfall's shadow quarters, in the darkest corners where the Legis wardens do not venture. Taint has taken root.
Oh yes, we know.
And it
In that taint, we found a glistening thunderhammer. That's right. Footfall is consumed by profanity. But even here, true heresy serving the arch-enemy is a rarity. The cultists who now dwell in the shadow quarters mark their abodes with a sun inscribed in blue and gold, and perform strange rituals in secret. The weak find solace in believing these reports to be rumors, but I well know that evil lurks all around us, and I wish to see retribution. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he kind of has his head screwed on correctly, it seems. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. I don't want to say that. Why don't you go to the liege with the matter? We will verify the rumor. Yeah, actually, why don't you go to the liege? I do not walk the paths pleasing to the liege. Hieronymus frowns. Vladame is weak and riddled with worms on the inside. He seeks to please his Kasbalika masters, those peddlers of relics of the unholy Xenos. Well, then we shall verify this rumor, Reverend Hieronymus. With great pleasure. Argenta puts her hand on the stock of her weapon. I almost wish for the rumor to be true. My heart yearns to battle heretics. This is where I bid you goodbye, sister. Noble HBFT bunny trader extraordinaire. Is there more you wish to ask me about? I have a question about faith. Tell me about yourself. Well, I have a question about faith, yeah? You like Doloroso? Oh, heck yes. My sermon planted the seed of faith in the heart of another rogue trader once. Incendia Corda. Perhaps you are destined to become my second fledgling. The Emperor's servants, who are they? What is the proper way to worship the Emperor? Who's the enemy of the... Tell me about Incendia Corda. Have you heard of Aspis Corda? Pirate, blasphemer, xenophile, egregious apostate? Incendia is her heir, and a rarity among rogue traders. The protection of the holy warrant typically leads to the swift atrophy of conscience and pious dread, but not in Incendia's case. She relentlessly hunts down pirates and firebrands, and brings rebelling colonies to repentance, establishing strict discipline. The weight of her wrath is great indeed. The colonies she punishes are girded with orbital rings of heretic corpses as a warning to the survivors. As a personal confessor and guide, I find no end to the joy her triumphs in faith bring me. Oh my god! He's definitely dogmatic. We're kind of straddling both dogmatic and iconoclast. I mean, I really don't know the details, and it doesn't really do me too much good, but I guess I'll go with the iconoclast. Since when is orchestrating massacres a sign of virtue? They aren't massacres. This is a war on apostasy and treason. And in this war, Incendia Corda is inflicting grievous wounds upon the wicked. Who is the enemy of the Imperium? I think we're good here. We're good. No problem going iconoclast. I thought he might be pissed about it. We're good here. We're good. The Emperor protects. All right, so very pretty reasonable seeming guy. I kind of like him as far as in comparison to the people that we've heard thus far. Ooh. The low hum of voices quiets, and a dozen gazes shift to you. This looks like a fight. The tall man with a shaved head is rubbing his hands together nervously. His opulent clothes are nearly bursting at the seams on his muscular body, and his expression is forbiddingly grim. Still, he's trying to put on an air of friendliness. Greetings. You must be... He glances at the scroll in his mechanical hand implant. Master Fidelio. All the guests have arrived. You're the last on the list, and we couldn't well start without you. Your presence is absolutely vital. Play along? Of course, I'm Fidel. Sure, let's go. Of course, I'm Fidelio. He puts on a broad smile, but catches himself and quickly frowns once more. Please, we can talk later. Chaplain is about to begin. What is this tomfoolery? Abelard grumbles, but not before making sure the man is out of earshot. Look around. The gathering you found yourself at seems refined and respectable at first glance. The decorations and the attendees' clothes speak of wealth, and so does the location, which isn't far from the Liege's residence. But you notice that most of those gathered are of rather imposing physique. Many of them have scars, military-grade implants, several of the guests look like they're covering the exit, and a few are clearly carrying concealed weapons. Your appearance has definitely attracted everyone's attention. Just about every guest here keeps glancing at you, and some are clearly watching your every move, even though they are trying not to show it. Oh god. Well, definitely a fight. I wonder who this Fidelio is, and why they cannot start proceedings until he or she appears. What is this place? What's going on here? I know nothing about the place, but I can feel that something's in the works here. I sense danger and opportunity. And the danger's a whole lot greater, she finishes grimly. I wonder who this Fidelio is and why they cannot start proceedings until he or she appears.
Judging by the way that fellow with the list was talking about him, it's someone very important, but it's not a name I've heard before.
I have never heard the name before either. Well, let's go. I want to see what this is about. This is a problem. Oh, are we supposed to say an obituary or something? Who's this? Is he my... Well, there's a bunch of matchsticks. Look, this is a giant matchstick with the... Oh, no, that's a... Never mind. That is not a matchstick. That is a purity seal of very straight papyrus or something.
Oh, what a terrible, sorrowful day. We pay our respects to the life and soul of Footfall Society, a loyal servant of the Imperium, a generous benefactor who spared no expense to keep the fire of faith burning, and an example to all future generations, the most noble and unforgettable Master Bellardo. This loss...
The fussy administratum clerk speaks in a strained voice and keeps peeking at a paper with text on it. His speech drags on and on, blending into a monotonous cascade of praises of the late Master Bellardo. Sounds like Geraldo. Time has passed 20 minutes? What is that? Oh, his speech was like 20 minutes long? Oh my god.
So let us offer a prayer to the Emperor for the repose of Master Bellardo's soul and the prosperity of his heirs. I now pass you over to our most reverend chaplain.
A formidable-looking man dressed in the attire of an ecclesiarchy missionary glares at the gathered crowd.
And here you all are, you vultures. Let's offer a prayer then. But if you think that the Emperor, or the messenger of his will, in other words, myself, does not see into your vile souls, you are sorely mistaken.
The chaplain looks at you and gives a slight nod.
I wasn't referring to Master Fidelio. At least Dens himself wanted to see him at his funeral. But the rest, I know every one of you. And I would be astonished to discover anyone here who truly mourns this loss. So go ahead, pray for Bellardo's soul. Soon the flames will take him. A fitting end for a life like this. May the Emperor keep his soul.
Without another word, Chaplain makes the sign of the Aquila and pointedly turns away from the attendees. What the heck is going on here? Table with drinks. There's an odd smell to this amasec. It seems very likely the drink has been poisoned. What the heck is going on here? We better save. This is very dangerous. Up close, Chaplain leaves an even stronger impression. A tall, burly man whose face and hands bear numerous scars. His entire visage seems to tell the story of many heretics who met their end upon their encounter with this adept of true faith. Chaplain gives you a friendly nod, but his gaze is intense, like he's trying to get a sense of who you are.
Pleasure to meet you, Master Fidelio. I prefer to go by Chaplain. It is both my name and my occupation.
Oh, wow, that is convenient. You know, it's funny how despite being Dens's, that is to say, Master Bellardo's closest associate and confessor, I've never heard of you. The man he chose to be his sole heir. I'm glad, of course, that the inheritance didn't go to any of the others, the vultures. But I'm still curious. Why you? Well, you know, that guy Geraldo and I were especially close. Chaplain nods. Unsurprising, Dens Bellardo did like remarkable people, and he knew how to get people to like him. Well, given your speech during the ceremony, I take it you're not fond of the other attendees.
I'm a missionary of St. Drusus, and the truth of the Imperium speaks through me, so I see no point in pretense. All who have gathered here have one goal, to bite a chunk out of Denz's estate. Ambition and aspirations of wealth are not immoral in and of themselves, but Chaplain grimaces. It's just that I'm sickened by the thought that such a great man has left behind nothing but a pile of human refuse. His son is a drunk and a weakling. His friend Dagon, the one who greeted you at the entrance, is a dim-witted brute with an incredibly bloated ego. His widow made off on the family yacht in the direction of the maw while his body was still warm, with an entourage of 5 brawny, well, good-looking young fellows. Wait, does that mean that you... That's fine. I don't judge. Chaplain peers at you once more. I'd like to believe he didn't choose you as his heir on a whim, Master Fidelio. At least you had the guts to come here into a nest of vipers who despise you, because Denz's money and property slipped through their fingers. I respect that kind of audacity, and so did he. Oh no. On the matter of inheritance, when can I claim it? I have a strong suspicion someone here wants me dead, probably all of them. Chaplain grins. You don't say! How can this be? Someone wants the sole heir of a tremendous fortune dead in the place where the other contenders deprived of these riches have gathered? If you, Master Fidelio, really are worthy of Denz's name, you will deal with these minor vicissitudes. Consider this my blessing. The Emperor protects. Anyone who deserves it, that is. I'm on the matter of inheritance. Where can I claim it? You just can't wait, can you? Chaplain scoffs. After the funeral, Denz will be delivered into the flames, then we will announce his last will and testament, and you will officially come into your inheritance. Well, thank you for speaking with me. I must go. Oh boy! Alright, so now we have an idea of what's going on. We are the targets here. Who's Adelia? Why is she hiding around the corner? The girl dressed in expensive clothes raises her sad little face to you and says in a serious voice, Hello. Who are you and what are you doing here? Hiding? She hesitates for a moment. I thought I was going to cry, and I didn't want anyone to... My name is Adelia Bilardo. It's my grandpa in there in the box. Argenta's face softens. She reaches out and gently strokes Adelia's head. The tears will pass, Adelia. The tears will pass. The strength will return, and your courage will never leave you. Adelia tries to smile, then just nods seriously. Have you heard of the name Fidelio? It's someone my dad is very mad at. Oh, great! But Dad's always mad at everyone. At Grandpa, Mum, Dagon, Chaplain. Where are your parents? My dad is Caspelardo. He's with the guests, and my mum ran away. They told me she hates Dad and Grandpa. I guess she hates me too. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't even miss her anymore. I miss Grandpapa. He was the nicest. She presses her lips together and lets out a quiet, very unchildlike sigh. Well, I must take my leave. Goodbye. Oh, wow. So she actually seemed kind of sincere. Well, before we do any sort of fling... It wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was not my fault. Unless that was a booby trap. It looks like a lot. It looks a lot like a deliberately set trap meant to collapse a part of the building. It was a trap. Wow. Wow. Cool. I better be careful here. Can we talk to the suspicious tech priest? Do we notice anything? Oi, Master Fidelio. You leaving already? I'm afraid you'll have to wait. Wait, yes, it's Footfall Station Services, see. They're carrying out a scheduled inspection of the life support systems. It won't take long, an hour, maybe 2. You never introduced yourself. I'm Dagon Oteo. I was first mate on Denz's ship. I mean, Master Bilardo. How did Bilardo die? Badly. He went downhill real fast. That's just a year ago. He was still living it up, storming the slum asteroids to shoot riffraff and mutants, and all of a sudden he was done. His old wounds had caught up with him, and, well, he had plenty of those. Both from the old days and more recent ones, like when somebody tried to bump him off. 12 years back, I think it was. Well, I must take my leave. Okay, so we can't even talk to the suspicious tech priest. You hear someone delicately clearing their throat. The source of this sound turns out to be the administratum clerk you saw next to Chaplain. His clothes are neat and impeccably pressed. His face, however, reveals extreme nervousness, bordering on fear. Ah, my good Master Fidelio. I do hope you're satisfied with the services provided by our establishment.
He leans in a little closer and whispers,
I beg of you, help me. Please keep your voice down. We can't let anyone hear us. It's a matter of life and death.
What is even the matter? The clerk wipes the sweat from his brow nervously.
Please understand, it's very difficult to get by on Footfall with my wages, and Imperial Regulation 40308L on post-mortal service workers on peripheral worlds directly prohibits the chief operator of the crematorium from leaving their workplace for any reason other than sleep, food, severe illness, and ministration of sacraments. Therefore, I am forced, practically forced, to look for other sources of income that allow me to stay within the walls of this here establishment. I've set up a little, shall we say, enterprise. I replace the implants of the deceased with identical replicas and sell them to the right people when I have a shipment ready. Look, I just prepared the newest batch of superb, unique implants of the highest quality, but I got careless. I used my first sick leave in 4 standard years. And it was on that very day that Master Bellardo passed away and his family was quick to organize a ceremony in our crematorium. I simply didn't have time to prepare. And now my container full of goods, it's in the furnace, and if you don't help me, they're going to burn it any minute.
Oh. So what you're saying is you've got a bunch of valuable implants inside of a treasure box that is currently hidden in the furnace that is about to be burned because you've got this body and you need us to delay. What do we get out of it, yeah? Wait, so you hid valuables in the crematorium's furnace?
I've been hiding them there for 10 years now.
And quite successfully, I might add. Only the richest citizens can afford the services of a crematorium, and sadly, they don't die all that often. Usually, I sell the goods before the next body arrives, but I got unlucky this time. Help me, I beg of you. What do you need from me, and what are you offering in return? I will help you on the following condition. You see, I am most definitely Master Fidelio. I'm afraid I misplaced some of my documents. If you make me a copy of everything you can find in the archives that has my name on it, you'll get your contraband.
Of course, will do. You'll be most pleased with the results. Just help me for Throne's sake. Throne preserve you. Make it look like you're just having a look around.
Look, it's a lot easier for you to wander into a restricted area without arousing suspicion than it is for me. Find the container. It's in the far corner. Get out. Come back to me. I will be waiting. Oh boy. I guess are you referring to my implants? I guess I probably should have, not promised anything until we already had it in hand. What if it's like the most powerful thunderhammer the world has ever seen? Whoever prepared the body of the gray-haired man lying in the coffin, they did a good job. Even in death, he looks majestic. Abelard maintains a grave expression befitting the occasion until he sees the face of the deceased. He frowns. He peers at it with suspicion. Then he gasps, astonished, almost dazed.
I'll be. This is quite the meeting, if it can be called such, under the circumstances.
Take a good look at the deceased. The implants left in the deceased's body speak of his high standing. Expensive tech is typically extracted from the dead, and only the most prominent and wealthy avoid this fate upon their death. Abelard, do you know this man?
Do I? I would tell you all about this man, but the words I'd use would be improper for a funeral. This, your lordship, is Jerry Candens, known back in the day as one of the most notorious pirates in the Coronus Expanse.
Oh.
They nicknamed him Jerrycan for his habit of having a jug or two of promethium on hand. He did love burning things. Oh yes, he was a menace back then. How long ago was it? 60 years ago. I was serving my last days in the Navy when news came of his latest attack.
Abelard distractedly runs a hand through his hair.
Well. There was a time when the sight of Jerrycan in a coffin would have been enough to make me dance, quite literally. By the throne, I would have danced a jig on the spot. But now, I don't know. No more jumping into the warp right from under the cruiser's nose, you old beast. Who would have thought I'd be at your funeral?
This is very grand for a pirate's funeral. Is this normal for Footfall?
Folks on Footfall are known to turn a blind eye to many things, but even the locals aren't so unscrupulous as to honor pirate scum a few paces away from the Legis residence. But no one has heard of Dens for so many decades, I barely recognized him myself. And I've seen his face on pics a fair few times back then. I assume he retired and started a more or less honest life under a new name. What was it they were calling him? Master Bellardo?
Now I remember.
Reverend Hieronymus mentioned the name Master Bellardo as one of the biggest donors to the temple. The lid of the container automatically opens when touched. It is completely empty.
Oh, that's great!
Can I fall back now?
Quickly, we need to fight our way out. Emperor, protect us. It looks like they repurposed the nozzle of an ancient station engine for the needs of the crematorium. How do we fight out?
I'm still standing.
Oh, all right, go, go, go. Go. Ooh, I wonder why not her. Oh my God, we're burning. Oh, that's how... Are they really gonna rob us?
They're on fire! On fire! Put them out quick!
The voices come to you through streams of something thick and foul. Your eyes are covered with whatever your unbidden savior saw fit to splash over your head. At last, you can make out the silhouette of a vagrant dressed in rags leaning over you. He throws up his hands.
Your lordliness, are you all right? Did you hit anything? Any bad burns? You fell right through that there ceiling, and it's mighty high up.
Who are you and what are you doing down here? Oh, whoops, I said, do you happen to know who Fidelio is? The vagrants look at each other in surprise.
I mean, wasn't there that Fid lad? Used to live under the fifth void? And his hussy kept yelling all like, my Fido. Fidelio, Fid, same deal, right?
Look, who are you and what are you doing down here?
We live here's all, your lordliness. You see, these are old tunnels. They dug them back in Posthumus Dwayne's times, right through the asteroid. It's a little stuffy down here, but it's warmer than up in the big palaces on the surface. And it sure is warm under the crematorium's furnace. I mean, they barely burn anyone up there, but they do fire it up often enough. And that's good for us. Sure, sometimes an odd smell makes it through the vents like they're making roast. It makes your mouth water. But what can you do? That's the cost of comfort for you.
Give alms. I'm feeling kind today. Here for your help with a fire. The vagrants' faces brighten, and they accept your handout with a bow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you kindly. Something to buy a bit of food with. Because, well, we used our soup to put you out, you see. And it was only 2 days old.
Well, good for them. And good for us. Wow, nice of them. That's hilarious. Hey, man, how do I get out of here?
Well, there's no climbing back into the crematorium for you. Look for yourself. It's all burnt and collapsed, but it's no biggie. There's only one way up there, so you won't get lost. First, you need to pull this big old lever to open the doors. It's by the busted pipe. That's where the lever is. After that, you just walk through the corridors, the shaft, the old warehouse, and there you are on the surface.
The fact that the incompetence of the crematorium's maintenance staff saved our lives does not make their negligence any less egregious. I will register a complaint. Wow, he really doesn't like anybody here, yeah? This only happens if you pretend to be Fidelio and other things happen. Oh, gotcha. Well, I must take my leave.
All the best on your journey, May the Emperor help you and guide you out.
A horrible stench reaches your nostrils long before you see its source. A corridor where punctured pipes are disgorging streams of murky sludge. In the distance, you see the lever that opens the doors leading outside. The only way to reach it is by submerging yourself in the sludge.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'm too old for this Kaja brings the corner of a perfume shawl to her nose.
I think I'm going to be sick. Someone's got to go and pull the lever, right? I propose our holy sister as a candidate. A seeker after spiritual purity shouldn't be put off by a little bit of ordinary muck, after all.
Hardy ha ha. Adira, I have a You can choose. Adira, I have a mission for you. Kasha, even delicate nobles can benefit from learning of the darker sides of life. Please proceed to the lever. As everyone knows, the person who does all the dirty work for the Roguetrader is the Seneschal. Argenta, how about a stroll through this delightful muck? Pascal, matters if technology are your forte, which means you're going for the lever. Enter the malodorous sludge yourself. Hard choices are the lot of any leader. Yes, I shall go. I shall be the focus of great scrutiny once I proclaim that I'm Master Fidelio covered in sewer sludge. I'm sure it will help the believability. They did say I was a filthy person after all. Here we go. Well, I'm waiting. Oh, there I go. Am I going to fall in? I'm totally going to fall in, aren't I? Wow, yep. Wow, it's slowly maneuvering me. I like how I don't rush at all. I'm just like, this is fine.
All right, we did it.
Oh, look, I have a debuff. What is this?
What is the debuff? It's permanent. I don't even know what it is. Apparently I smell. I permanently smell. I think... Well, I smell. You know what? It's permanent. You know what? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of permanence in our lives. Let's be real. Oh, hello. Is this a fight? Servitors. Oh, we've seen what happens to servitors.
Move it! I said move it! If the inspection gets to the circuit station before we do, I'll have all of you recycled. Yelling your brains out at servitors won't make them work faster. You know another way to get the lazy brutes to shift themselves? Well, I'm all ears. If the inspection sees a circuit station without a unit, they'll go to Vladane with this, and if Vladane finds out, he won't mince words. He'll give us the old Kazbalican severance, as in kick us out the trash chute without a void suit.
This las has 8 ratio. This las, the long las? What do you mean, Furia? Sim it down, we'll be fine. Back in my transport days, I'd show the inspection the same protection screen on 8 different sites, and I never got busted once. I seriously doubt Vladame's inspectors are any more diligent. They'll fall for our 1 support unit on 3 circuit stations. They won't notice a thing. Better worry about selling the 2 units that we bought. Who the throne is that?
This goes beyond a violation of the right of operation. It downright stinks.
Well, so do we. And just who are you? And what are you doing in here?
We're from Footfall Station Services, carrying out a scheduled maintenance, but you're not going to believe that, are you? You heard everything.
After glancing briefly at his partner, the man lays a hand on his weapon. I promised my wife I could go a month without murder. Too bad. I'd rather break my word than get on the liege's bad side. Look, all I did was stop by a funeral and introduce myself as Fidelio. Because of this, some people have attempted to burn me alive, others have drenched me in swill, and now thieving utility workers want to murder me. This is starting to feel like a bad joke. How about I just go on my merry way? Good, but then they'll know that we're not actually Fidelio, right? So I guess we should probably attack them. Let's do it. Here we go.
Bah, whatever. We'll worry about that later.
There we go. Beautiful. High five. Okay, so I received an invitation to a meeting.
Confirmed. I wish to discharge, reciprocally validate the mutual contractual obligation designated Logistiker Theta. Under the contractual obligation in question, 34761 Terran cycles ago, the Explorator Cognizance fleet received from representatives, authorized units of the von Valancius dynasty, a volume of high-grade promethium equal to the fuel capacity of 6 Tantalion void tankers.
Received it, and then did not pay. Compensate, remunerate, settle accounts. Should I go on? Or is that enough synonyms?
The stipulated payment reciprocal offering from the Cognizance fleet can be made to von Valancius assets at the current time, after which the contractual obligation will be fulfilled, archived. Confirm your status regarding acceptance of the payment reciprocal offering.
You waited 30 years to pay up?
Execution of payment reciprocal offering is in accordance with the specifications of the contractual obligation. Allocation of assets from the holdings of the Cognizance fleet was initiated when the tankers reached the main squadron, 14,905 Terran cycles after initial transaction. Asset allocation process concluded, 2,663 Terran cycles later. Transportation, assets, Furibunda system, 16,862 Terran cycles. Final delivery of assets to Footfall, 0.331 Terran cycles.
Clever. If you had been purchasing fuel for a squadron at the other end of the Imperium, you may never have had to pay at all. We would have turned to dust before you made it there and back.
I think it's 14.9. Oh, okay. 14,900. That would be a long time. Let's see. You're saying that my dynasty has had extensive business dealings with you. What payment? Yeah, actually, yeah.
This statement is true. Cognizance fleet concluded 1,292 contractual obligations with the von Valancius dynasty as represented led administered by the counterparty identified as Theodora von Valancius. The most substantial was Pact 8 Yule, in accordance with which Archmagus
Cubus Delphim, Data Usher of the Sevenfold Hallowed Workshop of the Sacred World of Euphrates II, was transferred to the planet Kiabagama to perform the duties of Minister as its fabricator sensor. The services of such a highly enlightened, enhanced, authorized servant were recompensed via the offering of paid for with a 7-year contract granting the fleet's exploration vessels maintenance privileges at the Kiabagama facilities.
I mean, that is true. In the last couple of decades, Lady Theodora took pains to form a strong relationship with the Cognizance fleet. She turned down a dozen candidates looking for the right tech monitor to watch over Kiabagama.
Well, what payment can we expect? Universal Mobile Orbital Deployment Extractiums, Astra Arator, processing complexes in the quantity stipulated in the contractual obligation. Each unit has undergone a cycle of maintenance liturgies and has been assessed for conformance to the sacred STC standard template construct. Great creations of the Omnissiah, blessed be his beneficence, which has bestowed upon these complexes industrial might and a full cycle of reproduction and life support.
I am willing to accept payment.
The request is accepted. The sacred machines will be loaded into the hold of your vessel. The contractual obligation Logisticar Theta is concluded. The Cognizance fleet thanks House von Valancius for its cooperation.
Oh, here we go. As soon as you appear, a dozen eyes and guns shift in your direction. The guests of the ceremony no longer pretend to be peaceful mourners. They are, however, stunned to see you.
I don't believe it. You had the nerve to come back after your tumble through the flames.
Listen, Dagon, I hate you. You hate me. But maybe we can set aside our differences for the sake of our mutual target, so to speak. The man nods at you and narrows his eyes ominously.
Finally, boy. You're showing some signs of being your father's son. Dens would never beat around the bush with rivals. Shoot their head off, be done with it. Anyway, I accept your proposal.
He aims his weapon at you. We've tried killing you quietly. That didn't work out. So we'll just kill you. Plain and simple like. This is Footfall for throne's sake. Bye-bye, Fidelio. Again, people want to kill me without saying why. I don't quite know how to explain it to you all, but I'm not actually Fidelio. You know, it really doesn't matter to them, I would imagine. Because if you think about it, if I'm Fidelio and they kill Fidelio, then it works. So I'm just going to attack them. Fine, let's get this over with, I suppose.
I'll make it.
Egg, yes! Dagon lifts his bloodied face. Ah! It hurts! Past Belardo clutches his wounded body. We just got 3 more profit factor. That's so huge.
The crematorium's gonna have its hands full today.
You stop shooting. Oh no! Dad! Chaplain looks at the carnage around him matter-of-factly.
Wonderful! This is a funeral Dens would be proud of.
Treat their wounds, I'm not in a killing mood. Finish them both. Finish Dagon. Let's finish Dagon. I wish I could see it, but I can't.
Another enemy down.
Oh my. Chaplain shrugs indifferently.
Are we done with the firing squads?
I would like to finally resolve the matter of Dens' inheritance, and after that give him a proper send-off. And so, according to the deceased's will, all of Belardo's fortune goes not to his worthless son Cass, not to his brainless mate Dagon, but to Fidelio, a mysterious new heir. However, I believe a certain party would like to intervene in this process. Chaplain looks straight at you and chuckles. I still have a question. Who, in the name of the Golden Throne, is Fidelio? Or Iconoclast? Ooh. The only one here who truly loved Dens is his granddaughter, Adelia Belardo. She inherits his fortune. Give it to the girl, even if she was just playing it, she should get it. Although money is pretty good. Gosh darn it. I know you're right, Green Team. See, bunnies always keep me on the straight and narrow. Well, the only one here who truly loved Dens is his granddaughter, Adelia. She inherits his fortune. But the name on the will is Fidelio. Chaplain pulls a hefty scroll out of his bag and tears it to shreds. All his life, Dens spat on laws. I think he'd understand.
The old man sure as Throne didn't expect this. The money's mine! Don't worry, sweetheart. Daddy will help you put your grandpa's riches to good use.
Cass, have you finally gone deaf from all that drinking? The inheritance is Adelia's, not yours. If you make any attempt to coerce her, as Denz's executor, will be forced to take steps. Chaplain puts a hand on the handle of his hammer. Plus, I mean, you're not Fidelio anyway. No, that's true.
Oh, I see. All of you have it in for old Cass, huh? Well, I'm afraid you leave me no choice.
I can't rotate the camera. Sobbing and crying her eyes out, Adelia, smeared with her father's blood, is shaking Cass's lifeless body. Oh, well, that takes care of it. Oh, good for him.
Daddy, get up. I'll give you the inheritance.
Demons take you, Cass. Threatening to murder your own daughter at your old man's funeral was a new low for you. You always were a useless waste, even in your final moments. The chaplain took care of it. Oh yeah, that sounds like Sudoku. He's aiming his gun at his daughter, and one of the servitors goes, oh my god. Oh, thank you for filling me in, bunnies. Well, examine the servitor. The servitor that was once a woman is kneeling, motionless, showing no signs of life. There are 2 charred holes where the eyes once were. Some malfunction must have burned its brain from the inside. Its face bears a peaceful smile. Why did this servitor attack Cass? I think that's one of Denz's house servitors. Cass brought them with him to the funeral. Could be a malfunction caused by some error during the servitorization process. Or maybe Denz, knowing his friends and family's scum they are, gave it orders to protect his granddaughter. Who could say at this point? Alright, well, what happens to the girl now? Chaplain sighs heavily as he looks at the weeping child. She's got no one left now. Her mother ran off to the edge of the galaxy. Her father, well, you saw it yourself. His brow furrows. After a pause, he curses under his breath and nods. Look, I'll look after her until she's grown up. I don't think I need to spell it out for you. A little girl with a tremendous fortune who might as well paint a target on her forehead. If I take Adelia in, no one will dare to hurt her, courtesy of the reputation that my turbulent past has earned me. And if they do dare, he casts a meaningful sidelong glance at Cass's body. While I'm at it, I'll also help her not to squander her whole fortune. Maybe even earn something extra both for herself and you. I think the best investment would be a merchant ship. I'll teach her the basics, avoid ferrying, find some reliable suppliers, pull a few strings in the administratum, and just like that, she'll have herself a decent enterprise. Wow, that's as Denz's executor, that guy's a pretty good guy. Holy crap. I can tell you're an affluent sort, and I imagine you to always use the services of a robust, reliable supply network. Leave the paperwork and other formalities to me. I'll contact your subordinates myself.
Oh, supply network? All right, we did it.
Well, that takes care of the inheritance. What do we do next? Chaplain looks at the coffin. Well, I'd like to say goodbye to my old friend. The crematorium's a bit wrecked now. But who needs a crematorium? Denz loved having his enemies drenched in promethium and burned. They didn't call him Jerry Can Denz for nothing. I think it'd be a nice gesture to send him on his way in the same fashion. Thankfully, it's easy enough to procure a jerry can of promethium on Footfall. Abelard nods in approval. It's fitting. Chaplain gives you a sidelong glance. Hey, you want to stay and watch? With pleasure. Well, let's get started, I guess. I don't think you'll find out any more this run, but if you want a different route, you could have learned all about it. Oh, really? Sure, I'm curious. Oh, he has his flamer. Look at this guy. Oh, yes. Okay, that's worthy. That is worthy. Way better than a crematorium. And apparently we've leveled up as well. That's incredible. That was quite a side quest. That does not feel like a side quest at all. That feels like mainline. That's crazy. The servitor is Fidelio. She was the wife of a captain of the Redemption, a ship that Denz attacked. She tried to get revenge on Denz and hurt him. Then Denz sent mercs after her to bring her back, and he turned her into a servitor, but he made sure she kept all her memories. Her emotions had phases where they came back, and she left signs around the house of Denz that scared him. Oh my god, dude, that is... Oh yeah, that's some crazy lore. That is some crazy lore. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, we definitely would have missed that gem. That's crazy. Wow. This young man is clearly making every effort to look dapper. His fashionable clothes are practically new, and his hair is well groomed. What ruins the impression is the poorly scrubbed off oil stains from his leaky implant and the fit of the jacket, which was clearly made for someone else.
Come one, come all! See for yourself the best collection of live Xenos on Footfall.
Needs every combat bonus you can get. Let's see. I demand this abuse be stopped, all captives freed. What kind of collection is this?
Dangerous, vicious, ruthless Xenobeasts caught red-handed as they were attempting to commit evil against the Imperium. Right now, they're harmless. Archaeages can withstand their rage, but I wouldn't recommend getting too close.
Lore Xenos. These aren't even Xenos. They're mutants in makeup. The man's smile dims, but only for a moment.
Not Xenos, you say? I'm sure there must be some mistake. I'll check the shipping lists myself, rest assured.
His words are oozing with greenish yellow hues. I do not think the promise will be kept. Such entertainment is lucrative precisely because billions of Imperium subjects have never encountered a Xenos in their life. Ignorance and curiosity create colossal demand. That's what I was taught, and I can see that the lesson was truthful.
I will buy all the captives from you. Oh my god. He thinks... Oh, we lost two? That's a lot. He thinks for a moment.
That can be done. Very much so.
The entire collection will cost you a tiny sum, but you're free to take them away right now. Can we kill him and take it back? Wow. I didn't realize how much that would cost. I thought it was just like regular money. That was a lot of money if it's 2 whole profit factor. Holy crap. We have to introduce ourselves. Ooh, that's Vladame. Oh my god, he looks intimidating.
My patience. You remember the way out. Dismissed.
The tall man in austere gray clothes makes a show of looking past the woman he's addressing.
Vladame, Vladame, Vladame. What Aji put such harsh words into your mouth? You talk like you're an Imperial clerk, not one of us.
The woman who is standing with her back to you lets out an ostentatious sigh. Then her tone changes dramatically.
Where's my cargo, Vladame?
Falco has it, doesn't he? So that's how you do business with your old friends these days? So you don't remember? Then the help will remind you. Guards, escort her out.
Idari, move.
The massive guard leans down to the woman and says in a lowered voice,
Jay, get going while he's letting you. Go drown your sorrows at the Amasekas. Thank your lucky stars you were able to walk out the door. You won't get the chance next time.
Find the disgraced stranger in the Adeptus Amasekas bar in Footfall Shadow Quarters.
First an insult, and now threats.
I see courtesy and tact are no longer a valued commodity on Footfall. Oh well, I'll find myself a better deal. She turns on her heel and heads toward the exit. As she passes you by, she gives you a quick once-over, winks at you, and then immediately turns away with a flip of her jet black hair. She's rather cavalier, isn't she? For getting kicked out of the Liege's palace. The tall man who has long since noticed your presence is studying you intently. Vladame Tokara, Liege of Footfall. Let us please proceed to my office. A spread befitting a visitor of your rank is waiting. Your entourage will be accommodated nearby. Certainly. Let's go. While you are engaged in small talk, you get a chance to take the measure of Liege Tokara. His expression is aloof and focused, his gestures curt and firm, and his speech calm and quiet, as though he's used to people always listening to what he says. Judging by his observant gaze, he's been studying you in turn this whole time. Vladame straightens in his chair and says in a polite but completely indifferent tone, Let's talk business. On behalf of the elite of Footfall Station, I offer you my condolences, Lord von Valancius. We mourn Lady Theodora's loss. We hope this sentiment is taken as a sign of our good intentions and willingness to cooperate. Jay is cool. Rather cavalier is one way to put it, yeah. Thank you, Liege. A terrible loss for all of us. I hope that under your guidance, the dynasty can recover from this blow and attain even greater power. I am impressed by your prudence. Your decision to arrive on Footfall incognito without announcing either the death of the previous rogue trader of your own status was quite wise. The rumors will spread sooner or later. It's impossible to keep secret something that's known to the thousands of people serving on a void ship. But for now, you are free to reap the benefits of anonymity. As you may have noticed, Footfall is currently in a state of crisis.
Its people would benefit from the patronage of a figure such as yourself. Who was that woman the wardens threw out? Vladame's expression hardens, and he makes a frustrated gesture. A dead woman walking. Some, however, still call her Jay Hidari, a small-time hustler with big ambitions that will lead her to a sticky end. It's strange. A small-time hustler, even a particularly audacious one, wouldn't likely quarrel in public with a figure as important as the Liege of Footfall. What seems stranger still is that the Liege knows this small fry by name. She is irrelevant. Since I'm the one in control of the situation on Footfall, I can speak on behalf of all of its noteworthy residents. All right then, I was attacked right at the docks. An outrageous stunt, a show of disrespect for both you and me. Sadly, such incidents on Footfall are akin to natural disasters, impossible to predict or preempt. They simply happen. Many consider Footfall to be a pirate den, but believe me when I say that there is a difference between organized crime and gangs of thugs who have nothing to lose. You were attacked by the latter. The Anvers are a gang of punks who spit on our customs and hierarchy. Even their leader is more akin to an ideologue, a rabble-rouser who calls for people's heads, not a commander. Sooner or later, we will find him and have him strung up. That will likely cool his followers' enthusiasm. Behind the carefully built facade of composure, you sense anger. It appears that this man is not used to losing control. But that is exactly what is happening. Well, I'd like to know more about them, this Anvers gang. Why haven't they been dealt with yet? He grits his teeth slightly before answering. I've been using all my resources to delay the moment when the station is hit by famine. I haven't gotten around to the Anvers yet. As detrimental as they are, they're no players. When their leader dies, the rest will scatter. I'm sorry for the loss of your assistant. The negligence with which you do business is insulting for an individual of my stature. Or grin. I can tell they've been a real pain for you. I bet you'd love to gut those jokers, wouldn't you? Come on, admit it, you would, wouldn't you? Hey! Hey! I can tell they've been a real pain for you. I bet you'd love to gut those jokers, wouldn't you? Come on, baby. Admit it. You would, wouldn't you? That's what I feel like. We just like break out of character. Yeah, sure, let's go. A shark-like smile appears on Vladame's face, bloody and vicious. Back where I grew up, they call it throwing someone for a loop. They carve a particular sign on the person's forehead, load him alive into the slag disposal chute, and send him out to orbit the station. Every 30 years we clean the orbit, count how many stiffs bearing which signs have been floating around. You have no idea how much I want to throw those little thugs for a loop like in the good old days. Holy crap, this guy's like mafia boss. Jeez Louise. Well, what sort of patronage do you seek from me? Protection. Not military protection, but a different kind of security. You have, of course, already encountered difficulties with warp navigation on your way here. I'm afraid the scope of these difficulties extends far beyond this area. Reports of disrupted routes and ships vanishing during short jumps are coming in from across the entire sector. Communication with the Calixus sector has been extremely unstable. Of the ships that have dived into the maw in recent years, none have yet returned. The last ship that came through the maw from the other side was struck by a temporal anomaly, and the jump took almost 2 decades in real space-time. You've heard of periods of warp instability, including cases where the maw would become completely inaccessible for navigation for years on end, thus temporarily cutting off the Coronus expanse from the Imperium. Even so, Vladame's words are particularly alarming. It seems that something has had a profound effect on the maw. And this brings us to our main issue. Footfall is a repair shipyard and a trading post. We barely produce anything ourselves and are largely dependent on incoming shipments, especially food shipments. The station naturally has some reserves, but the supply issues didn't start yesterday. Footfall would be obliged if House von Valancius would assist us by signing a contract for food deliveries. I can't be the only one you've asked for help. Naturally, I tried contacting other rogue traders, but the terms of House Corda would have bled Footfall dry. And as for the esteemed Caligos Winterscale, instead of a food shipment from him, I received a transport, the Navica, packed with refugees. I had to send them off to Foulstone, so many extra mouths to feed would have only worsened the crisis further.
I suppose all these warp fluctuations must have created more pressing concerns for Lord Winterscale, and so I put my faith in you, the third and last of Footfall's allies. So Footfall is cut off from all of its shipments. The local gangs are running wild. The local hustlers are throwing tantrums in your residence. Are you positive you're in control of the situation? Do we push a crime lord? I don't think so. So what are the terms of this deal of yours? It is simple. Delivery of food shipments from your fertile world's Janus, I imagine. I'm quite familiar with that jewel of the Von Valancius Protectorate in exchange for fair payment. Get on your knees and ask properly. Oh my god, wow. Jeez. The payment will be unfair, as I will be robbing you blind. But you will remain in charge. Do we have a deal? Wow. Very well, I will help you with food shipments. I will help Footfall, but not out of desire for profit. I have no interest in obtaining any favors in kind or becoming your patron, only in saving people's lives. So, I mean, I feel like with someone like Vladame, being an iconoclast to that degree would just be bad. I don't think that would work out very well, yeah. So there's like different degrees, right? If we say get on your knees and ask properly, well, that's like way out of left field. Payment will be unfair. He's used to that. I think that toes the line very well. And very well, I'll help you is like, yeah, we'll do whatever you say. And then iconoclast, I will help, but not out of desire for profit, is basically like, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want to these guys. So screw that. So I think I'm going with number 2, yeah. So the payment will be unfair, as I will be robbing you blind, but you will remain in charge. Do we have a deal? Why would Footfall agree to such a deal? By accepting it, we would anger the esteemed Incendia Corda without gaining anything. Let's discuss more realistic prospects for our partnership. I feel like if you do the iconoclast, yeah, right? Kaspalika's the crime faction. If I say get on your knees, I mean, that's a little too much. He's got guards right there. And if I say I'll help you with food shipments, I'll just help him with food shipments, I guess. Offer him help, he knows you owe him one. Okay. All right, thank you, bunnies. Vladame takes a quick sip from his glass. I am immensely obliged, your lordship. I assume you're going to need time to get the shipments up and running. I can wait. On my end, I promise you complete cooperation with your endeavors. Let's see. What's the situation in the region? Sure. I mean, his read would be valuable. Troubling. Zenith's raids are growing more frequent. Trade is suffering. Fringe worlds are going under. Rumors of atrocities being committed by enemies of humanity are causing excessive panic due to their exotic nature. The core of the Imperium, forces in the Coronis Expanse, has departed for the sector's borders to combat the Zenith threat. There has been no word from them for a while now. Then again, with the distance and the current issues with astropaths, that is not entirely out of the ordinary. Still, we are not yet alone. From several of the worlds hit by Zenith's attacks, we've received reports of fierce warriors who descended from the sky and entered the fray. The fragmentary accounts lead me to believe the blessed Adeptus Astartes are operating in the Coronis Expanse, and I await news of their victories with great anticipation. Ooh, maybe there's our Space Wolf. Have there been any Zenith attacks on Footfall? No, there have not. Attacking Footfall in general is not a particularly reasonable thing to do. Many ships are docked here at any given time, and even the listed weapons on board would make for a decent fighting force. And that's not even to mention the firepower our steam merchants have shamefully hidden from the station's custom officials. For us here, Zeniths are more of a source of income than a threat. Vladame freezes, gauging your reaction. I do not approve of fear of Zenitech. One must know and understand the enemy. I'm convinced that your connections with Footfall will allow you to broaden your knowledge and understanding of Zenith considerably. I will see to it your curiosity is satisfied in every way. Oh, okay, this could be profitable indeed. Well, I have some questions. Where does one go to make a few deals here on the station? Here. I am the main dealer on the station, and it would be disrespectful to me to suggest you take your business to Footfall traders of lesser importance. Still, you might take an interest in a few people of note. For example, Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso. This servant of the Ecclesiarchy is rumored to purchase sacred relics from captains, and other traders don't seem keen on becoming his competitors. If you're looking for goods that can entertain you, find Octaviana at the establishment called the Adeptus Amasecus.
The chemical bliss she offers is refined and possesses a satisfactory degree of purity. Just don't ask her to pour you her signature drink. It's meant for common footfall rabble, not discerning clientele. Oh, wow. He can sell me stuff? Well, then let's get down to business. I'm interested in your wares, baby. Rogue trader, incredibly powerful. The civilians, any imperial governor has more authority. I am at your service. You can expect the most generous discounts. All right, here we go. That's what we're talking about. Oh my God, we already get some stuff. Oh, hello. Oh, we got a Vox. Lord Captain, I am pleased to report the inspections have been completed. All identified system failures have been resolved. The void ship is ready to depart Footfall. The crew is waiting for your further instructions, and there are also a number of issues that need to be addressed. All right. Meet with officers on the ship's bridge. So we've kind of done like the big initial stuff. We haven't gone into the shadows quarters very deeply yet. I did not. Did it say that we could? Oh, what's this? Oh, the quarters. A well-groomed young man calls out to you. He's clean-shaven and dressed in clothes that are expensive but unshowy, with a bright aquila embroidered in a prominent spot. Noble sir, a minute of your time if you please. I am Bastion, Indirama Bastald Corda, youngest cousin of House Corda, envoy of Incendia Bastald Corda, rogue trader of the Cornus Expanse by the grace of the most holy emperor. And you must be an envoy of Theodora von Valancius. I noticed you arrived on the esteemed lady's ship.
Corda. They are some of the most influential rogue traders in the Cornus Expanse, but not on Footfall. This station is under the control of House Winterscale. Something tells me we're about to hear a most curious offer, says Abelard under his breath, so only you can hear him. Hide the truth. Quite right. I am Lady Theodora's envoy. Splendid. It's a pleasure to be speaking with an equal. Truth be told, I get a little flustered in the presence of the powers that be. Bastion smiles meekly. Well, what did you wish to speak with me about? A matter of the utmost delicacy. You see, you've been to the residence of the Liege. Vladame almost certainly appealed to you for assistance in the arrangement of shipments to Footfall. The Von Valancius Protectorate is famed for the abundance of its main agra-world, Janus. It would be odd for him not to seize on such an opportunity when Footfall is on the verge of famine. However, the Corda dynasty pursues its own interests on Footfall. We have already announced our terms to the Liege, but he is stalling. I imagine in hopes of getting a better offer from you. The Corda dynasty believes... Bastion smiles and gives a slight shrug. That cooperation would be preferable for both rogue trader houses. If you refuse Vladame, thereby forcing him to agree to a deal with us, the Corda dynasty can promise you a share of the profits from the future contract, as well as certain other prerequisites. Everybody benefits. The Emperor's most loyal servants should be more concerned with carrying his will through the stars, and less with divvying up profit among themselves. Argenta says disapprovingly, but quietly enough so as not to interrupt the negotiations, especially when the well-being of one of the Imperium's worlds is at stake, even one such as Footfall. Behind your smile, Master Bastion, teal shadows swirl. Others may not see them, but your worry cannot escape my eye. What are you afraid of? Your house's wrath, should these negotiations prove fruitless, or the wrath of House von Valancius. Adira, who was yawning in boredom a moment ago, flinches and clutches her face, her fingernails digging into her skin. They're coming! Again, brothers of the ones who came before, I just don't get it. Do they all have a death wish? I appreciate the warning, Adira. What? Bastion stares at you in surprise, then turns around. Death to Offworlders, the Anvers rules Footfall. Yes, hello, Abelard. Dude, that was so clean. Holy crap, I don't think any of us got hit. Here, Anvers note from the Atrium Sector 2, watch your back, make sure you are not being followed. A man who introduced himself as a servant of House Corda asked to have a word with me, and then imagine the odds, someone blew his brains out. Vladame doesn't look surprised. The Anvers again. I presume those anarchical degenerates don't care whom they shoot, be it my servants, yours, or those in the employ of House Corda.
I suspect that this agent wished to negotiate a deal that would have you refrain from hindering Incendiacorda's efforts to strangle us with a threat of hunger and demand our obedience. If so, I don't believe I will be mourning the man's passing very long. I don't really want to start pointing fingers like this just yet. Maybe when we get to the Strange Gang, we'll find out. If any of you played Wing Commander 4, you remember it's like the price of freedom. Wing Commander 4 is Eternal Vigilance, and there was the whole storyline there and spoilers and all that. I wonder if it's something like that. There's a certain charm to the Bloody Mayhem. I'll just say I see. I once again offer my apologies for the sheer number of threats your lordship has encountered since arriving on my station. I have questions about Footfall. Rest assured I will be candid. My lips are bound by the oath of service. What exactly interests you on Footfall? This abode of merchants, Xenotech traders, and only a few bandits. Who holds the reins of the Xenogoods trade? Something tells me, what oath were you referring to? Let's say, who holds the reins? The Kazbalika Mission, a criminal syndicate that has seized control of the entirety of the cold trade in the sector. Xenos creations are in high demand, and so every single colony has a Kazbalikan agent or two. Opposing their commercial interests is a lot more dangerous than using their merchandise. A pale ghost of a smile appears on his lips. Still, making friends with this organization is as profitable as it is dangerous to make enemies of them, and it just so happens I managed to earn their trust. And on Footfall, they conduct their business under my watchful eye. He sends you a meaningful look. What oath were you referring to? There is a certain custom on Footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives at the station and docks is considered to be its absolute ruler, and the liege their loyal servant. That makes me your servant. Vladame's arrogant bearing contradicts his words. However, as long as you remain incognito, it will be difficult for you to use this privilege. Keep this in mind if you wish to communicate with the less knowledgeable inhabitants of the station. For them, you are an ordinary visitor to Footfall. So I'm free to push you around however I like. I won't abuse my right. Well, then I suppose Footfall will have to get used to its new harsh master. Aim at Vladame's head so I can just blow your brains out and instate a new liege. What a fascinating custom. Useful, too. I defer to your judgment, your lordship. Something tells me you used to be a bit of a bandit yourself. You aren't wrong. My path was long and bloody. But I'm the end I rose from running a gang that had staked its claim to a treatment filter station to becoming the liege of Footfall. Many died to make this possible, and those who survived figured it would be more convenient to put me at the head than continue the slaughter of the turf war. I can only hope my elevation and the peace that came with it have done the station good. And what will happen to you if I tell everything I've just heard to the leaders of the other gangs? Probably nothing. There is a sound logic to having the sharpest mind run the station. The administratum would have installed some pitiful clerk instead, so you're just a void rat from the dregs. Much has become clear. There can be no misunderstanding between us, your lordship. Well, I have no more questions. I'm glad to have satisfied your curiosity. Yeah, I don't think there was one for the carnival barker, as far as I'm aware, yeah? Argenta gestures for your attention. Rogue Trader, I would like to remind you about Reverend Hieronymus' request. He asked us to search for a potential cultist den in Footfall's shadow quarters. You seem weighed down by something, Lady Argenta. What? No! Argenta shakes her head and rubs her temples tiredly. Apologies, Rogue Trader. Being here on Footfall it's difficult for me. It's a minor personal weakness, but I'm as ready to fight as ever. It will have no effect on my combat skills. Well, if something's troubling you, can you tell me? Maybe I can help? Argenta shoots you a wary look. I suppose I could share it with you, but the tale will be long, and I will have to start from the beginning. I wasn't born in the Expanse. I was sent here to be a guardian of a reliquary on Footfall, but my ship became caught in a warp anomaly, and although it lasted only days for those on board, decades had flown by in real space. When at last I arrived on Footfall, it felt like I had been erased from time. No one was waiting for me on this side of the moor. The people who were supposed to greet me, who knew about my imminent arrival, had died. The reliquary that should have been mine to safeguard had instead been taken under the protection of Reverend Hieronymus and his brethren. They were more than up to the task. They had no need of my help. Footfall became my cage. I didn't know who I was or what purpose I had here. The way back to Calixis seemed like another trap, even if I were to find a ship headed in my sector, my order. They too would have lived decades without me by that point. Whenever I'm reminded of those months spent on Footfall, it feels like I'm falling into a pit. I hope the rumors of cultists turn out to be true. I can't wait to prove, with my bolter, that the world and the Imperium needs me. Oh my god, that would suck so hard. Ship can wait, it's just stuff can be done in order. Okay. Remind me, what was it? How and why did your stay on Footfall come to an end? Something must have changed. You know Footfall better than me. Do you think the rumor of heretics are true? Let's go. How and why did your stay on Footfall come to an end? Something must have changed. Yes, a sign, almost a portent, showed me the right path. But it's not something I can speak of like this, on the street in this den of malice. Let us be on our way. All I'll say is that on Footfall, I met Lady Theodora and joined her, and that was the end of my languishing in this place. Well, we must keep going then. Wow, that would suck so badly. It would be horrible. The amount of people that go through warp and the ship gets lost and isn't found again for years, and everyone on board ends up not aging but many years in normal space. That's horrible. It's so bad. Oh my god, what is this?